us now is someone who was in the audience at Tuesday's debate, sitting just 15 feet from the president. Sadly, Kristin Urquiza's dad passed away from COVID this summer. The San Francisco resident was at the debate at the invitation of the Biden campaign. Thank you so much for your time and of course, our condolences for the loss of your father. The Cleveland Clinic, which hosted the debate, said today, quote, "We believe there is low risk of exposure to our guests," and they were reaching out to everyone who attended. Have you spoken with them today, and were you able to get tested already?
I haven't spoken to anyone at the Cleveland Clinic, and I have a scheduled test for tomorrow, but I did speak to folks at the Biden campaign, including Dr. Biden, who were very gracious and informative to help me figure out just, how to make sure that I was taken care of.
And you were sitting very close to the front Tuesday. Kind of just give us a sense of what you saw. Walk us through it and the difference between the Biden side and the Trump side.
Absolutely. Well, first off, before I could even enter the debate hall, I had to get into town a day early so that I could get a COVID rapid test, quarantine. And that was what we were told everyone was required to do. When I entered into the debate hall, I felt super comfortable. They took temperatures. There was lots of social distancing. But once we settled into our seats, there was a Biden side and a Trump side. And as I gazed over to the Trump side, I saw maybe 1-2 people wearing masks. And then as I looked behind me, a sea of people who were masked. And I started to think to myself, wait, I think there's an indoor ordinance here. Why isn't this being enforced? And then, obviously, over the course of the debate, Mr. Trump, President Trump himself was very, vocal. And I just can't imagine, how much, potential viral load was, set out from just him himself speaking for 90 minutes.
And as we stated in the very beginning, your dad passed away in Arizona over the summer. And you wrote in his obituary, and I want to quote, that his death was due to the carelessness of the politicians who continue to jeopardize the health of brown bodies through a clear lack of leadership, refusal to acknowledge the severity of this crisis, and inability and unwillingness to give clear and decisive direction on how to minimize risk. What do you feel needs to change now?
We need a coordinated, data-driven response to this pandemic. And as we see this week, politicians like Donald Trump and his family are continuing to put politics above public health. The Trump family arrived so late to the debate, I just learned this 20 minutes ago, that they weren't even tested. And then looking at the timeline, it seems like they knew people in their inner circle were positive as they continued to campaign. In what universe is this acceptable? This is life and death. I have seen up close the darkest sides of COVID. It is undignified and lonely death. And I have been saying this since the day my dad got sick. I would never wish this disease on my worst enemy.
Just for the record, want to establish that ABC News has not confirmed that the Trump family did have that knowledge that people in their inner circle had tested positive at this time. But moving forward, as you know, personally, this virus spares no one. You've seen that firsthand. What would you say has helped get you through this difficult time? And do you have advice for the countless families who may be going through the same emotions that you are?
The thing that has brought me so much solace in a time where it's really difficult to connect and grieve through traditional channels is actually the nonprofit that I co-founded called Marked by COVID, where we're working with other families who are survivors or been impacted to help uplift their stories and really channel their anger and pain and grief into purpose. We're also launching a week of mourning starting this Sunday, where we're going to be hosting daily vigils at noon Eastern for folks to come together and publicly mourn and start to grieve and heal. And working alongside these families and seeing just my own suffering replicated throughout tens of thousands of people across the country is It's actually less, it's empowering in a sense because I know that I'm not alone and that what I'm calling for and asking for is righteous and necessary.
You certainly are not alone. Kristin Urquiza, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.